The year is 2013. Recent times have been very kind to cartoons, and the industry is now at a zenith it has not seen for a very long time. The medium is renowned once more as an art form, rather than discarded as a juvenile pastime. For every new series that is broadcast into television, the envelope is pushed further and further. Enthralling animation, top-notch humor, and a sophisticated level of intelligence and maturity are now commonplace in cartoons. And we owe it all to the new blood who live and breathe by this principle. We owe it to the hard-working men and women that treat the medium with the dignity and respect that it is due. Sadly, this also means that Mickey will once again be left in the dust. One of the leading faces in all of animation will lurk in the shadows of its successors once more, never again to see the light, to bask in the adoration, the applause it once knew, never again to win the hearts of... Wait a minute. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I'm speechless. I must be dreaming. I gotta be right. This is so, well, wow. What a surprise. I didn't think it could happen, but here it is. Holy cow. Give me a minute. Let me catch my breath. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Talk about a complete 180. In 2013, Disney commissioned a total of 19 brand new Mickey Mouse shorts to be developed and shown on both their official website and the Disney Channel. This collection of shorts, simply going by the name Mickey Mouse, is helmed by one Paul Rudish, and is touted as, and I quote, capturing the essence of what Walt Disney created 85 years ago. Let's talk a little about the crew. Anyone who knows their cartoons most likely have seen Paul Rudish's name appear here and there. Rudish is a well-rounded animation guy. He's had a hand in writing stories for shows, but he's more known for his art and visual creativity. He was responsible for the character designs we got in Batman the Animated Series. What's more, he also had a tenure at Cartoon Network, where he worked as a storyboard artist, writer, and art director for shows such as Dexter's Laboratory, The Powerpuff Girls, and Samurai Jack, alongside the respective creators and fellow Cartoon Network alumni Genndy Tartakovsky and Craig McCracken. Paul's more recent endeavors include co-creating the short-lived Symbionic Titan, working as a development artist for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and as a storyboard artist for one episode of Tron Uprising. Now that's an impressive record. Let's take a look at the rest of the crew. Aaron Springer is another familiar name in the animation realm. His filmography includes SpongeBob SquarePants, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and the two previously mentioned Genndy Tartakovsky shows. Like Paul Rudish, he is best known for his storyboarding, but has also been credited for directing and writing. As of recent, Aaron has worked on Gravity Falls and Wander Over Yonder, the latter created by both Craig McCracken and his wife, Lauren Faust. Last but not least, we have Clayton Morrow. He's another storyboard artist slash writer slash director, the husband to fellow animator Cindy Morrow, and both of them are also Cartoon Network alumni. Is anyone else seeing a pattern here or is it just me? I'm really surprised by the fact that Disney enlisted some very talented people who've been around the animation block for quite a while, and nowhere else is their talent spotlighted more than with this brand new series. Boy, have they really outdone themselves. The 2013 Mickey Mouse cartoons, or as I'll be referring to in this retrospective, Mickey 13, is exactly what a lot of people claim, a breath of life that Mickey badly needs. It's definitely a step in the right direction for Disney. As promised, it brings our beloved cartoon rodent into the modern day, while retaining the essence of Walt's original plan, winning over old Disney enthusiasts and capturing an audience from a new generation. Everything about these shorts oozes with the charm we've seen in the early classic Disney shorts. Let's start with the character designs. This version of the Sensational Six harks back to their original designs in the black and white era and the early colored era. You know, pie eyes, pure white skin, slim frame, heeled shoes, you know what I'm talking about. Mickey is especially slimmer than his past incarnations, and his shapes here aren't as rounded as they used to be. At first I kind of thought that he was borderline malnourished. This design works to the show's advantage, since it gives us some really fascinating visual gags. Mickey can bend, twist, contort, and alter his body so freely that you'd swear he's Disney's equivalent of a Rubik's Cube. You can tell the animators were having a lot of fun playing around with the design. Speaking of the animation, have I mentioned how gorgeous it looks? The animation, like everything else in these shorts, is reminiscent of the good old days. It's a flash-based, sketch-like style that is akin to the one used in the colored era, between the 1940s and 1960s, characterized by striking colors, thick lines, and flat, paper-like landscapes. Think Mary Blair, except a little bit cleaner. A lot of the shorts depict contemporary locales like India, Japan, Brazil, and France, with the characters speaking the country's respective languages, and some nice bilingual bonus for international viewers. And of course, you can't forget the tradition of inanimate objects becoming sentient all of a sudden. And then you have the characters themselves. And allow me to say one thing right now. Thank you, Paul Rudish. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickey Mouse. This is not the whitewashed goody-goody baby-faced corporate figure we've seen so much of lately and are frankly tired of. This is an actual character. Mickey in this new series is more akin to his original persona, good-hearted and loyal, but with an adventurous and mischievous streak to him. He's a character with flaws, just like back then. He's willing to go great lengths to have his way, and when his good nature does crop up, it's played for laughs by putting him in scenarios where his said good nature is going to bite him hard. The other characters' original selves are present and accounted for too. Donald is as short-fused as ever, Goofy's still, well, goofy, and Minnie and Daisy are the well-meaning sweethearts they always are. However, I will say this. I think Donald is a bit too much of a jerk this time around, especially to Mickey. Looks like all those years of being second banana to him is finally coming full circle. As for Goofy, they might have overplayed his traits too. Back then he knew what he was doing and how to do it, but he was too clumsy to get anything done properly. Here, some of Donald's antics grate on my nerves to the point where I want to turn him into Peking Duck. And similarly, I'm amazed that Goofy's able to get himself dressed for the day. But that would have to be probably the only real complaint I have. So far anyway. All but one of the current voice actors make their return here. We've got Tony Anselmo as Donald, Rusty Taylor as Minnie, Bill Farmer as both Goofy and Pluto, Tress MacNeille as Daisy, and Jim Cummings as Pete. As for Mickey, he's currently voiced by Chris Diamantopoulos, best known for his roles in live-action television shows like 24, The Office, Arrested Development, and About a Boy. You might also know him from the 2012 Three Stooges movie, where he portrayed the leader of the trio, Mo. Providing the voice for Mickey Mouse, I feel, is a very big deal, what with how famous the character is. For an actor to take up this mantle, it's sort of like a passing of the torch for Disney. A 70-odd year legacy will be carried on a specially appointed person's shoulder, and the character will be recognized through the sound of that one person's voice. I was expecting the role of Mickey to be reprised by Brett Ewan, who is considered to be the official Mickey voice by Disney, having inherited the honor from the late Wayne Allwine. But since this is supposed to be a love letter to the old days, the crew opted instead for someone who could replicate the original high falsetto voice perfected by Walt Disney himself. Thus we have Chris Diamantopoulos. I'd say he's a solid choice, but he's no Wayne Allwine. He captures the spirit of Mickey well in his delivery, and almost perfectly emulates the high-pitched Walt Disney gave us. I guess it was a good move that Brett Ewan isn't reprising his role here, since he sounds too similar to Allwine, and Allwine's voice is associated purely with what I'll call modern Mickey, and hearing that sort of voice coming out of a Mickey that is supposed to be based off of his traditional design would be jarring, since these are two vastly different generations of Mickey we're talking here. And now, the big question, are the shorts funny? Absolutely. 100%. The humor in this series is some of the finest you will ever see from anything Mickey Mouse related. Much of it is based on Mickey's character as opposed to how Mickey would react to any given situation, which was typically how even some of the older shorts progressed, especially the latter colored ones. That Mickey is a reactive character, while this new incarnation is an active character, setting the plot in motion, getting himself into hairy situations, and throwing surprise after surprise at you. And it really complements the fast pace of a lot of these plots. As I've already said, there's a healthy amount of sight gags that'll keep you entertained quite thoroughly. Some of them play around with the art design, and some play around with the different kinds of musical cues that pop up. Then again, the latter is par for the course for the Disney short, but it still holds up. And that's not even mentioning the affectionate nods to other Disney properties. You'll find plenty of shoutouts to the Disney animated canon in these shorts, like this one. Looks like you're stuck scrubbing floors from now on, Cinderella. Oh well, and if that's not cutting it for you, then how about some more subtle meta humor? Bonus points if you've been to any Disney theme park or resort. To make a long story short, yes, these new shorts are funny, and the humor never repeats itself. I could watch them over and over and never feel bored. Now I will admit that I was initially among the many, and I mean many, skeptics who were apprehensive about the direction these shorts were going to take, and the new looks for the Sensational Six didn't help any. I was a little off-put by the scrawny, spindly appearances that the characters were going to take on, and Flash Animation's reputation only made matters worse. But I had to look at them from a different perspective. The perspective of a longtime fan who's seen many of Disney's works, and the magic behind each and every one of them. And I'm glad that I did. Mickey 13 is a shining example of how to properly transition a long-existing cartoon character into the modern day. It carries that familiar charm that we've come to know Mickey Mouse and Disney for, and appeals to old and new audiences alike. The visual design and animation is just stunning. The characters are remarkable and lovable as always. It's funny in more ways than one, and the affectionate nods to other Disney properties is a welcome touch. There's always something for everyone in this series. That's probably the thing I love most about it. Between the contemporary settings, the many ways they make you laugh, the different languages of the world used, and the Disney nods that I've mentioned, not a single type of audience would ever feel alienated when watching these shorts. All that's holding it back is how the characterization can sometimes go to unnecessary extremes. If Donald was less of a jerk and Goofy was less of a dunce, I could stomach them better. And of course, some of the more lowbrow humor could be omitted. Other than that, these shorts are phenomenal, and I only wish the best for the creative minds behind them.